Good too. Wow, this is so cool. All right, I apologize for that because I broadcasting on 3 different locations, and LinkedIn was one of them, and they said it wasn't open. So I had to pick another one. So thank you for jumping in. My name is Sylvie Dow, Coach Sylvie of Dow Training Systems here in Chelsea, Quebec. And I'm here to show you some quick tips on how to change a flat super quick. All right, so I've got my bike here. Get over here. Actually, I'm gonna tilt this down. This is so fun. I love it. Okay, tip number 1, as soon as you get a flat, you put your gear, I'm gonna show you right here, your chain onto your bottom gear. So basically put it on the highest gear before you take off your back wheel. Okay, so let's just click it down, boom. And then you're gonna have to pedal it through so that it changes a couple more times. All right, so now we're right onto the back, the last gear or the second last gear of your wheel. And why would you do that? So the reason is that you want to know, first of all, where your chain is. Now, if it's somewhere, if you take your back wheel off and it's sitting somewhere in the middle to the top of your cassette, then when you go to put your wheel back on your bike, you're going to have issues because your derailleur, for one, is not going to be, it's going to be over here somewhere, and it's not going to go in really nice and smooth. So that's why the first tip, and if you could take anything away, is to slap your chain in the very last gear, or the last 2 gears, the highest ones, and before you take off your back wheel. And now I want you to pay close attention, because look how the derailleur is all the way over and it's not halfway in between your cassette. That's another issue, right? Like if you drop it out, it's going to be kind of in the way. So that's why I do that. It's so simple. I'm just going to change it one more time. All right. Then slow down. Now you open your quick release. So you kind of open it here. Now here's the other one. Put your hand on your saddle, put your other hand on your wheel, and you pull it off. Boom. How easy was that? And you're probably like, oh my God, Sylvie, that was like, I could never do that. Of course you can. All right. So here's a little trick. I'll put it back in. Okay, so when I put my back wheel, I know exactly where my chain's sitting. Right there, boom. And of course, it's being blocked by my brakes. So there's a couple little tips. All right, I love. Now here's the thing, guys. I do a full-on live bike maintenance clinic every Thursday night. So tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. What I do is I talk about all the tools that you need to bring with you while you're cycling, how to use them, when to use them, and you know, which ones are the better brands. I mean, there's tons out there. You just need some basic stuff. And so the link is below right there. If you want to see more, like I talk about how to, I'm going to go into like changing your full flat, things to look and kind of like steps on what to do while you're changing your tire. Then the big one is repairing a broken chain. I've come across more broken chains in the last little while that I can count, and knowing how to use your chain brake tool is a beautiful thing. And why you want, make sure you have one as part of your multi-tool. So let's go back to the tips. Okay, so first you brought your chain all the way down to the last cassette, last gear. Now, when you open up your, oh, I tightened the quick release. So you open up the quick release, and like I said, you grab onto the saddle, you put your hand on the wheel, and you pull up. Boom, it's out. Here's a couple of little steps I'm going to leave you with on how to get it back on. Now, number one, put your quick release and your cassette between the chain. This is where everybody gets all stressed out, and they put it like underneath the chain. I don't know if you can zoom in there, and then number two. So number two is putting your little pulleys right, that you just sit your derailleur down right on the last gear on your bike, right? Third, you take your thumb and you place it on this little, it's actually right there. It's a little piece. I'll show you right. It's part of your derailleur. This little guy right here. See? I don't know how you can see. It's right there. And you just push your thumb on there and you just crank down your derailleur. Boom, like that. Okay, so number one, you put your cassette between your chain. Number two, you sit the pulleys and your chain down on the last gear. Number three, you take your thumb and you put it on that little piece and you open it. And so it just sort of slides down and it's ready to get the frame into the wheel. And the last one is number four, and this is the same for your brakes, or if you have disc brakes, is take a look at your brakes, because my wheel did not roll into place because it is sitting right on my brakes, and I have to push my now inflated wheel past my brakes. And it's the same with step 4 for disc brakes. You roll it in, you're looking at the derailleur side. Now you got to look on the opposite side and make sure your back fork is not, or is sitting up against, or no, sorry. Yeah, the brake is not sitting up against the pad, right? Because it's just sitting there. Like it didn't slide into the brake. So same with the ones up here at the back, the top of your wheel, and with your disc brakes. Now, last one is closing up your quick release and making sure your wheel is not resting up against your back brake. So there you go, guys. Quick tips on how to change your back wheel, or maybe just take your back wheel off, because I find I have a women's cycling club here, and that's the biggest stress. Nobody wants to take their bike apart or take their wheels off because they're too afraid to get them back on, right? So with that, have an amazing evening. And if you want to learn more about some bike maintenance, sign up below. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Comes with a recording, but I do hope you show up, because there is a Q&A afterwards. So if you have any questions, you can definitely answer them if I didn't answer them at some point in time during the session. So have an amazing evening, and I look forward to seeing you online live tomorrow night. Take care.